Welcome to Legacy Sips and Tips podcast with your geeky host, Lindsay Wheeler, where we talk about everything from death, preparing for your future through estate planning, life, the occasional breakup, entrepreneurship, general nerdery, and of course travel, snowboard, and always wine. Welcome to Legacy Sips and Tips with your host, Lindsay, and this episode we're going to talk about your fur babies, like this one who's being quite sweet right now, and what to do if you're not here. This cat is not my normal color scheme of cats. As you can tell, she has lots of white, and it does not go with the black of my wardrobe. She is a nice accessory, however. She does balance it out because everything goes with black or white. So she is a nice accessory for all of your wardrobe needs. So nowadays, a lot of people are opting to not have children. Instead, they have their fur children. Their cats, their dogs, their birds, their rabbits, whatever it is, guinea pigs, hamsters, whatever you choose to have as a fur baby, sugar gliders, what have you. People are now becoming less inclined to have children because, let's be real, life is expensive. And I think the stat is, don't quote me on this, but to raise a kid from birth to adulthood is around $300,000. That's quite a chunk of change. Whereas that money now could be saved or spent on your relationship with your partner. You can travel with it, you can have your pets, and a lot of people, millennials particularly, are shaping their lives around their animals. They are buying their homes specifically for yard size or location or amenities within the home for their pets. They are traveling with their pets more. People are taking them on their trips with them, on airplanes and trains and boats and cars and what have you. People are buying homes, or not homes, but cars that are geared toward their pets. There's room in the back for their dogs when they go camping or hiking or whatever it is. As we all know, statistics are now showing that there is an actual birth decline. People are lesser and lesser inclined to have children, and more people are fulfilling that need with their pets. So now they have fur babies instead of real babies, and most people are finding that more affordable because life is expensive. I think the stat is to raise a child, don't quote me on this, but from birth until adulthood at 18 is around $300,000. That's quite a chunk of change that could be going to living your best life, traveling or experiencing whatever you want to do with your partner or not. You know, there are other abilities for that. Also, the world is expensive, so a lot of people aren't able to afford a home or to afford the expenses of raising a child on a single income or a double income at that point. So a lot of people are focusing on their pets, buying homes with the pet in mind, buying apartment complexes, are really focusing on pet ownership and having them be pet friendly and, pet luxury, if you will. Also, gourmet foods. And of course, all of us, who doesn't like to watch cat videos on a Saturday morning? All of us do. All of us. So cats, dogs, hamsters, birds, whatever it is that fulfills you, we can help you take care of them if you're not here to do so. And so what does that actually look like? So talking about pets versus children in an estate plan, they're virtually the same. There's still something that you're taking care of. There's something that you're responsible for. And with a child in your estate plan, you would put a guardian nomination if you and the other parent are not available to take care of them. You do the same thing with your pets. We can curate and craft a full estate plan surrounded by your animals, because oftentimes if you were to pass away and you have children or adult children, they're able to take care of themselves. There's mechanisms in place. With animals, there's not as many of those available. They have shelters that they might go to, or God forbid get euthanized because nobody can take care of them, or they get put to a kill shelter or whatever it is. You can make sure that your special fur baby, who we love probably more than most of our children at this point, are taken care of accordingly. So they can be a full pet trust if you wanted to, or you can include them in your estate plan of what happens. You can also allocate money to take care of them. So with your estate plan, you're taking care of your animals just like you would if you had children. You can do the guardian nominations of where those pets are going to go, just like you would your children. So your pets don't end up, if you're not here, in a shelter or a kill shelter, or frankly on the street. Some people just abandon those animals because they don't know how to take care of them. So in your estate plan, you can have the direction and the resources for whoever is going to help you take care of those animals. So say say you have big babies, say you have horses or goats or farm animals or sheepies or something like that, you can put where those animals are going to go. Maybe they're going to go to a sanctuary. Maybe they're going to go to a facility where the horses help, rehabilitate children or whatever it is. You can make sure that that happens, and you can set that up so you can vet these places or these sanctuaries or these rescues so they are the best fit for you and your animal. After the fact, most oftentimes that doesn't happen. They're just going to go to the shelter, unfortunately. So always nice to do that for your animals, so you have the peace of mind that if you're not here, they're going to be taken care of for you. So with your estate plan, you can have a section in there about where your pets are going to go. So technically your pets are still personal property. They don't really have any other kind of delineation besides that. They're still considered property. And with that in your estate plan, you can put exactly where that animal is going to go. So we can be as generic as you want. So we can say any animal at the time of death will go to Bob, because Bob's a great guy and Bob likes animals or something. For each animal that's alive at the time of death of trustor, that's you, will get $10,000 for their care, maintenance, and upkeep until their passing. Okay, so pretty broad, we can do it that way. We can drill it down because some of these animals are going to outlive us, honestly. So some birds will outlive us. You have any kind of reptiles that are going to outlive you, like turtles, tortoises, some lizards. Horses live for quite some time, usually 30, 35 years. So that's a long amount of time that you may not be here, but they still will be. So you can put down and drill it down and say, my horses are going to go to the wild horse sanctuary in Montana to live their best life as a rehab animal for small children with traumatic experiences, whatever it is. You can make sure that happens. You can put within that estate plan that each horse that goes to this sanctuary for rehabilitation is given X amount, $25,000 for their care, maintenance, welfare during their lifetime. You can put in there how those animals are cared for, that they are to receive, regular veterinary visits every year. You can put that they are to have grooming every month. You can have that they have a certain amount of food that they are required to purchase for these animals, or they're to live in a certain manner that you have had these animals accustomed to, if you will. So you can drill it down as much as you want. You can be as broad as you want as well, but it's always good that if you do have animals, to put some direction in your estate plan of where those animals will go, so your successor trustee is able to fulfill those wishes and to take care of those animals for you. Say you're an extravagant millionaire these days are not that much. Say you're a billionaire and you have unlimited funds for your animals because maybe you had real kids and those kids are not so cool because they grew up with the silver spoon and you're like, these kids suck. They can do their own deal. And you want to spite those children and leave everything to your cat. Guess what? You can do that. That's fun, isn't it? So a big one is, of course, Karl Lagerfeld's cat, Chopet. That's a multi-million-dollar cat. That cat has its own apartment in Paris. It has a handler. That cat has millions of dollars. The cat has millions of dollars because he decided to leave it to his baby. Yeah, she has a handler that they, pay a certain amount to take care of. She has certain parameters of food that that cat's supposed to be fed, media appearances. Like there's a whole script for this cat of what is to be done for this cat's lifetime. This cat will have more money than all of us will have in our lifetime, almost guaranteed. Yeah, the cat, Chopet. Look her up. She's really pretty. So fun facts about rich people leaving their money to their pets. And I have a list here, so I'm going to look here. So Gunther IV is a German Shepherd who has inherited an estimate of $372 million, which technically is making him the richest pet in the world. Oprah, Oprah, we love her. She has set aside $30 million for the care of her 5 dogs. Leona Helmsley, who was the Baroness, I think she was back in the 80s. She was kind of an eccentric woman. She left $12 million to her dog Trouble in her will, and she disinherited 2 of her 4 grandchildren. She's like, fuck them kids. Gail Posner, the Miami socialite, left $3 million and an $8.3 million mansion to her Chihuahua Conchita, as well as money for her other dogs, Lucia and April Marie. Yeah. The late woman left much of her inheritance to her 7 cats with the dying wish to ensure they all found loving homes. Like, so you can do what you want with this. Obviously, rich people love their animals. They love them apparently more than their children, which is awesome. You can do that for your animals because we love our animals, and they're just part of the family. They are like you would take care of a family member if they were to pass away before you. So you want to ensure that they're taken care of. They're not going to go to some bad place or a shelter or end up on the streets, if you will, just like you would if your kids were underage. You wouldn't have your 7-year-old not have a place to go or have somebody take care of that 7-year-old child because we weren't going to have a child in foster care on the streets, right? We're going to make sure that we can ensure that they're taken care of if we're not here. Same thing with your pets. They're like your 7-year-old child. You would want to make sure that they have somebody who's going to take care of them and the resources and funds to do so according to your wishes. Today's wine we're going to talk about is the Pundit. It is a 2018 Syrah from Yakima Valley. It is made by Chateau St up there in Washington, which is a really fun winery. They're probably known most commercially for their Riesling. It's a really nice, well-balanced Riesling, but this is one of their special additions that they did. They did it as a collaboration with a couple people in this style of the Rhone Valley, if you will. So it's a Washington red done in the Rhone style. It's a very nice wine. I really like it. Syrahs are not my favorite per se, but this one is a really nice one. So if you put this in front of me, I'm not going to be sad about it as I am with some other Syrahs. So if you want a nice price point as well, this is a great option if you like Syrahs. And again, it's the Pundit from Saint Michel in Yakima Valley, Washington. So how do you make this happen for your animals? Obviously, they're not like people, so they're not advocating for themselves or saying, hey, so-and-so told me that I was going to go here or whatever it is. How you do that is through your estate plan. You can also do a separate trust, but just give some direction for your successors or your heirs of where you want your animals to go. Typically, we would put them into our estate plan and we would have a section under there about our animals. We can have, like I said, a full pet trust within that estate plan. We can have a standalone pet trust just for those animals and your assets handled separately. Or you can put them in the distribution section because they are technically personal property and you'd put them included there. How that looks is, again, we'd be very specific as you want to be. You know, any dogs at the time of my death will go to Bob Smith. Each dog will have $25,000 for their care, maintenance, and life for their lifespan. You can have it to where you have already vetted these agencies. So say you have big babies like horses, like I've had clients have them. Those horses are going to probably outlive these people because they're older maybe. So they have already set up where these animals are going to go. Maybe they're going to go to, like I said, that sanctuary that works with, you know, disabled children. The horses will be perfect for that. Or they have them set up to go to a place where if their older horses can just live out their natural lives on a pasture and they're taken care of, you know, beautifully that way. You can put in there that they are required to be checked out by a vet or their personal vet every once a year, that they are required to do those appointments, making sure that that happens, that there is a certain set amount of money put in there. So be as specific as you can. So I always say that if I haven't seen you, obviously, if I haven't met you, but I got your estate planning binder, or I got your will, or I got, you know, your instructions, would I be able to follow them? Would I know where you want Fluffy to go if you're not here? So make it as easy as possible for your people, because again, they're going to be stressed, they're going to be grieving you, and having to handle animals is stressful because they're living, breathing things and people want to take care of them, hopefully, as well as you did. What happens oftentimes if nothing's in place, then usually the heirs or the children of somebody who's passed away or friends will take those animals for them because they are an extension of that person who has passed away in a lot of cases. Alternatively, a lot of cases, because people are overwhelmed, they can't handle what's happening, nothing has been put in place because that person neglected to do their estate plan or give direction, and they just go ahead and take those poor animals down to a shelter and call it a day. Think how traumatizing that is for your pets. They're always having you, they're relying on you, you're their person, they're, you know, part of your pack or the pride or whatever it is, and you're not here anymore. They don't know where you are. They think you have left them. They don't understand. So to have somebody that they don't know or to be dumped at a shelter is awful. So just think about that. If you were a pet or just with you and your person is no longer there, they just didn't show up one day because they passed away or they're in the hospital or something, and you were thrown into a shelter, that would be really hard and traumatizing. So oftentimes when you go to shelters and you see these animals and they're not as boisterous or friendly or fun, or they seem very withdrawn, there's a reason for that. So oftentimes when you adopt an animal, give them at least a month to start acclimating to your new home and their new life and to get used to you, because they are little creatures with personalities and emotions, and that's a difficult process for them as well. So always keep that in mind, and making sure that in your estate plan or you have directions for your animals, at the very minimum, just have even a piece of paper that says this is what I want to have done with my animals, so somebody can follow that for you. So if you want to ensure that your pets are taken care of after you're no longer with us, be sure to make sure that you have them included in your estate plan. I can definitely help you get that set up, or of course we have the do-it-yourself option with yourestateplan.online. And of course, when you think of death, think of me. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you found value, please like, subscribe, and share. And be sure to follow me on all the socials at Sips and Tips with Lindsay. And of course, you can always go to my website, sipsandtipswithlindsay.com, to find more information about estate planning, business, snowboard, travel, and of course, wine. As always, we have to get the legal stuff out of the way. I went to law school, so you don't have to. However, we have to read the special disclaimer that I am not a practicing attorney. I am not your attorney. I am not offering any legal advice in any content or any episode. All content is for your information and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for seeking your own legal advice from your own attorney or other professionals such as a CPA or financial advisor. I cannot give legal advice and do not offer any legal services or legal advice, but I do offer some fun and educational content for you to enjoy.